Okay, so today we're going to be going over another monopolistic competition problem. This problem gives us a graph and then gives us a shaded region, and it's going to ask us a question that's going to require us to identify that region. So this question says, the monopolistic competitor in the figure monopolistic competition is producing at the output level that maximizes profits, which is the same thing as minimizing its losses. The shaded rectangle depicts the level of A, profit, B, variable cost, C, fixed cost, and D, loss. So we're going to go through each of these and talk about why they're right or wrong and what region they would actually represent. So starting off with A, profit. So to start this off, we need to talk about where every monopolist wants to produce at. And I think we've all hammered it in. It's the quantity where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. So we're just going to draw a line right here to kind of represent that quantity for us. It's already drawn in for us pretty much. Okay, so now what we're focusing on is the profit region. And the profit region for any monopolist is the space between the average total cost curve and the demand curve. However, it is the space above the average total cost curve that the demand curve is at that determines your profit, because the price you charge is going to be where that quantity lands on the demand curve. You can go up from the quantity level where marginal revenue equals marginal cost until you hit your demand curve, then you go left to find your price. So the price here is actually below the average total cost. So this firm actually is not experiencing a profit, is actually incurring a loss equal to this region. So right away we know that the region highlighted is not profit, and we also know that since the region highlighted involves more than just the loss, that D is also an incorrect answer. So we found out really quickly that both A and D are incorrect. Okay, so now moving on to B, variable cost. So here we have an average variable cost curve, and so at this point, if we want to know our total variable cost, where marginal revenue equals marginal cost, then we would drop down right here and then go over to the left, and that would be this region would be the total variable cost payment that this firm is making. So since that is not highlighted, we know that is not the correct answer. So obviously the answer is going to be C, fixed costs. Now the reason the answer is fixed costs is because the fixed cost represents everything you have to spend outside of your variable cost to produce. So it's going to be things that you can't help but spend money on upfront. So things such as rent or machines for capital. Basically any kind of capital that you purchase is going to be your fixed costs. So it's everything outside of your average variable costs. So that is why this distance here, this area between the average total cost and the average variable cost, depicts the fixed cost, because that is the amount of money that you have to spend upfront on machinery and just capital in general in order to produce your goods. So that is why this region represents the fixed cost for this monopolistic firm. So we're going to circle C because that's the correct answer.